In- Inshallah, we'll be starting in about 5 minutes. Thank you for your patience. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. I'd like to welcome all of you to the Wills Writing Workshop. Before we begin, I would like to welcome Brother Ahmad Sharif to honor the program with the recitation of the Holy Quran.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يوصيكم الله في أولادكم للذكر مثل حظ الأنثيين فإن كن نساء فوق اثنتين فلهن ثلث ما ترك وإن كانت واحدة فلها النصف ولأبويه لكل واحد منهما السدس مما ترك إن كان له ولد فإن لم يكن له ولد وورثه أبواه فلأمه الثلث فإن كان له إخوة فلأمه السدس من بعد وصية يوصي بها أو دين آباؤكم وأبناؤكم لا تدرون أيهم أقرب لكم نفعا فريضة من الله إن الله كان عليما حكيما ولكم نصف ما ترك أزواجكم إن لم يكن لهن ولد فإن كان لهن ولد فلكم الربع مما تركن من بعد وصية يوصين بها أو دين ولهن الربع مما تركتم إن لم يكن لكم ولد فإن كان لكم ولد فلهن الثمن مما تركتم من بعد وصية توصون بها أو دين وإن كان رجل يورث كلالة أو امرأة وله أخ أو أخت فلكل واحد منهما السدس فإن كانوا أكثر من ذلك فهم شركاء في الثلث من بعد وصية يوصى بها أو دين غير مضار وصية من الله والله عليم حليم تلك حدود الله ومن يطع الله ورسوله يدخله جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار خالدين فيها وذلك الفوز العظيم ومن يعص الله ورسوله ويتعد حدوده يدخله نارا خالدين فيها وله عذاب مهين صدق الله العلي العظيم.
Thank you, Brother Ahmad Sharif, for the enlightening recitation. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ has said, "It should not be that a Muslim goes to sleep one night, but that he has a wasiyah beneath his head." As we all know, preparing a will is considered a highly important matter. There are critical topics to consider when preparing a will, such as naming an executor, naming a guardian for your minor children, specifying how much debts and expenses need to be paid, and identifying your assets and your property, etc. Having said this, I would like to welcome Syed Adeel Raza to enlighten us on the Islamic aspects of writing a will. Salat, please.
चले गए यहाँ से। It's okay. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين ثم الصلاة والسلام अला सय्यदिल अन्बिया'i वल मुरसलीन सय्यदिना व मौलाना बिल क़ासिम मुहम्मद व अला अहले बैतिहि अत्तय्यबीन अत्ताहिरीन मदलूमीन मासूमीन मयामीन व लानतुल्लाहि अला अअदाइहिम अजमईन। अम्मा बाद फ़क़द क़ालल हकीम फ़ी किताबिहिल करीम व क़ौलुहुल हक़। बिस्मिल्लाहिर रहमानिर रहीम। कुतिबा अलैकुम इज़ा हदरा अहदकुमुल मौत इन तरक खैरनिल वसिय्यतु लिल वालिदैनि वल अक़रबीन बिल मअरूफ़ हक़्क़न अलल मुत्तक़ीन। सदक़ल्लाहुल अलिय्युल अज़ीम। अल्लाहुम्मा सल्लि अला मुहम्मद व आलि मुहम्मद। Alhamdulillah, with the support and plan of Development Society, we are here to discuss about the importance of making an Islamic will. मौत तो सबको आनी है. We can't deny or we can't run away from the death. मुश्किल ये है कि नहीं मालूम मौत कब आएगी और किस सिचुएशन में आएगी और किस एज में आएगी. तो सिचुएशन का पता नहीं, प्लेस का पता नहीं, एज का पता नहीं, टाइम का पता नहीं. और अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह जब तक ज़िंदा रहेंगे अल्लाह की ब्लेसिंग्स हमें मिलती रहेंगी. जो अल्लाह ने हमें ब्लेस किया है, माल से ब्लेस्ड किया है, स्टेटस से, और अल्लाह हैज़ ब्लेस्ड अस विद वेरियस फैसिलिटीज़, चाहे वो माल की फैसिलिटीज़ हों या स्टेटस की फैसिलिटीज़ हों. तो इस्लाम ये कहता है कि बिफोर गोइंग टू डिपार्ट फ्रॉम दिस वर्ल्ड, लेट्स क्लियर व्हाट यू आर हैविंग इन दिस वर्ल्ड. क्लियर का मतलब है कुछ के हुकूक़ होते हैं हमारे माल में. जब हम ज़िंदा रहते हैं तो कुछ हमारी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज़ हैं रिलेटेड टू आवर फैमिली मेम्बर्स, आवर पेरेंट्स, आवर रिलेटिव्स, या कुछ हमारी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज़ हैं आवर रिलीजियस ड्यूटीज़. तो उसको क्लियर करने का मतलब ये है कि जो ज़िंदगी में रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज़ थी, आफ्टर डेथ दोज रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज़ को हम पूरा करें, वहाँ फुल स्टॉप ना लगे हमारे डेथ के बाद. तो एक जो कॉन्सेप्ट इस्लाम ने हमारे लिए पेश किया है वो कॉन्सेप्ट है वसीयत का, विल का. अगर जो विल का जो आपके पास फॉर्म है थोड़ा बहुत वो इन डिटेल है, आप स्टार्टिंग में फील करेंगे इट इज़ कॉम्प्लिकेटेड, इट्स वेरी डिफ़िकल्ट टू रीड एवरी आर्टिकल एंड टू फिल द फॉर्म. लेकिन इंशाल्लाह एट द एंड ऑफ द प्रोग्राम यू विल फील ईज टू फिल अप द फॉर्म इंशाल्लाह. तो इस्लाम ने कहा वसीयत करो, एक विल तुम्हारी होनी चाहिए. इस वसीयत के लिए, इम्पोर्टेंस के लिए बस इतना है, द वर्ड वसीयत हैज़ बीन केम इन द कुरान इन सूरतुल बक़रा आयत नंबर 180. कुतिबा अलैकुम इज़ा हदरा अहदकुमुल मौत इन तरक खैरनिल वसिय्यतु लिल वालिदैन. Here the word of wasiyat is there. Here wasiyat means will. Normally we will use the word wasiyat to advise someone, to give the admonishes, but here wasiyat means will. The beauty of this ayat is Allah has mentioned khair for the wealth. Normally we look to the wealth in a negative form. पैसे की बात करता है तो आदमी कहता है इसको साइड में रखो, लेकिन अल्लाह कह रहा माल मीन्स वेल्थ मीन्स खैर. इट इज़ ए नेकी, इट इज़ ए गुड थिंग दैट वी हैविंग द माल और द वेल्थ इन आवर हैंड. खैर वसीयतुल लिल वालिदैन, आवर पेरेंट्स, वल अक़रबीन, आवर नियरेस्ट रिलेटिव्स, बिल मारूफ. बिल मारूफ मीन्स विथ जस्टिस. वसीयत is equal to justice. Be just when you are writing a will. Haqqan alal muttaqeen. This is an obligation and mandatory for those who are having fear. Those who are fearful, they will take care of their wealth, not only in this world and after they depart from this world. The wasiyat, the mal has been mentioned in this ayat, and the word wasiyat is there, and to whom we can write the will or the wasiyat has been mentioned, walidain or aqrabin. And the word justice is also there in this ayat. From the second ayat of Surah Al-Baqarah, in continuation of that ayat, Allah has mentioned, فَمَنْ بَدَّلَهُ بَعْدَمَا سَمِعَهُ فَإِنَّمَا إِثْمُهُ عَلَى الَّذِينَ يُبَدِّلُونَهُ إِنَّ اللَّهَ سَمِيعٌ عَلِيمٌ. Once the will has been written and signed by the deceased person, no one has rights to change that will. ऐसा हो नहीं सकता, बेटे को पसंद नहीं आई तो लेट द चेंज द विल, या बेटी को पसंद नहीं आई लेट गो टू द कोर्ट एंड चेंज द विल. नो, वंस द will has been written and signed in front of the witnesses and the executor is there, then no one has the right to change the will. Whoever changed the will, the sin is on them. They have done the wrong deed in this world. But listen to this last part of the ayat, Inna Allah Sami'un Alim. Allah is all hearing, Allah is all knowing. What is your intention? Those who are changing the will, what is their intention is, what they are saying about the intention. Be careful when will is there in front of you. When you go to the sayings of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. One of the hadith says, it is a sign of a Muslim, a believer, he will write his will and place that will under his pillow every night. कभी कभार will लिखना है, इसको prepare करना है और इसको साथ में रखना है. सोने से पहले तकिए के नीचे, पिल्लो के नीचे will रख कर सोए आदमी. Our Prophet has mentioned it is a sign of a Muslim or a believer. In the second hadith, our Prophet says, whoever writes a will in this world and he will die with having the will in his hand, his death is considered as a death of martyr. Shaheed hona chahte ho to will likhna padega. Normally those who are dying on the way of Allah, they are having the wills. They are written wills are there in their hand. Even at the time of the Prophet, even at the time of our Imam, even today's, whoever going to protect the shrines of Hazrat Zainab Salamullah Alaiha, or those who are traveling to other places to save Muslims, they are writing the will. The will is there before going to war or before going to fight with the enemies, before going to defend the holy shrines of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu wassalam. In the last hadith, our Prophet says, whoever dies without making a will, his death is considered as the death of Jahiliyyah, death of a pagan, because maybe the problems will come after his death. जानते हुए, knowledge रखते हुए, ilm रखते हुए आपने लिखा नहीं है, your children are suffering, means your death will considered as the death of a pagan. Let's see what Shariat says about the will. Majority of our ulama, in the beginning, the fatwa is that the writing a will is not wajib. It is not mandatory. It is highly recommended to have a will. Not only in a form that we have distributed, at least in a piece of a paper. It is recommended to write a will. But in certain conditions, writing a will become wajib. The basic fatwa is highly recommendation. But some problems will come, and at certain stages, yes, writing a will become mandatory. We will go through those sayings of or verdicts of our mujtahideen. Why writing a will is recommended, and it is highly recommended. it become very easy for us, those who are those who are planning to distribute the wealth of a deceased person. It will become easy for his relatives, his family members to distribute the wealth. It's become easy and speedy. मरने के बाद फौरन डिस्ट्रीब्यूट कर सकते हैं. अगर विल है, विल सामने रखें, डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करें. इट बिकम ईजी फॉर देम. ये ज़रूरी नहीं है मौलाना को कॉल करो, let the call the Jama'at, let have a meeting. No need of anything if a will is there in their hand. And the second benefit of writing a will is some certain members of our family members, maybe they are suffering hardships. The problems are there. They need certain things from the property of the deceased person. They want to travel, maybe they are suffering from diseases or hardships or economic problems. Once we distribute the will or act upon the will, it will become easy for them. They can solve their own problems. Number 3, maybe those who are responsible to distribute the will or the family members, those who are head of the family members, it will become easy for them to come out from these problems. Chacha hai, mamu hai, dada hai, nana hai, elder brother, they are all of them, they are sitting to solve the problem. If will is not there, they are going to face the consequences. वो problem में फंस जाएंगे. क्या करें? Every day there should be a meeting. Every minute there should be a discussion about the wealth, how to distribute, and to whom to give this wealth. The main benefit of writing a will goes to the deceased person. The person who has died, he has written the will, means we can fulfill certain wishes of the deceased person. उसके कुछ wishes है नहीं, क्या होते हैं wishes? To do some good deeds for him, organizing recitation of the Quran, or we are asking someone to pray for him, wajib namazein, mandatory namaz, wajib rode, even hajj, even paying homes. We don't know. Lot of things are there on the shoulders of a deceased person. If will is there, it is easy to fulfill those things. कहते ना जब तक कर्जा अदा नहीं होगा कब्र में चैन नहीं मिलेगा. कर्जा अदा होना है नहीं, वाजिब नमाजें और रोज़ा, कब्र में चैन सुकून नहीं मिलेगा. So it is very much easy that we can fulfill all his wishes. Maybe mandatory, maybe recommended. Likewise, we can do it the last days of his life or her life. Maybe they missed the prayers on the bed. They missed the prayers, fasting. We can fulfill those things. And the mandatory thing is the debts. किसी को कर्जा देना है. It is a haqqun nas. Maybe the wajib namaz and roza will come later on, but the debts will come in the first phase. If the will is there, it is easy to repay the debts of the marhum, the deceased person. This is, if we consider the will is a recommended thing, we are getting this kind of the benefits. So what will happen if we say that according to some of our mujtahideen, writing a will is mandatory, then it will become wajib on us to write a will and act upon the will, especially when it comes to the paying the debts of the marhum and taking care of the wajibat of the marhum. Yes, we start writing a will. Form is there in front of you. There is a dua before writing, and will has been mentioned by our scholars. Not only will related or connected to our wealth or our material world, कितना पैसा कहाँ रखा बाद में बहस करेंगे. The main thing in the will is the spiritual thing. We have discussed about the namaz, roza, and our i'tiqad, our beliefs is also become the part of the will. We confess before writing a will, who are we? Who am I that I am writing the will? This is the dua. You can read it afterwards. This dua is basically we are confessing in front of Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala what is our beliefs related to Allah on the day of the judgment, our Prophet, our Imams, and what is happening after the day of the judgment. We'll recite in this dua, then we start writing a will. So before going to the will, writing a will, certain vocabularies are there. We have to know about the religious vocabulary, the terms that we are used in the will. Normally we are already translated here, are also in the form. You can easily understand. We are going to, in the later slides, we are going to discuss about the will. But here we are mentioned whatever we are having in our hand at the time of writing a will or the wasiyah. In the Sharia, that will is called as the wasiyah. Wasiyah, the wasiyah itself, what we are writing in the form and filling the form, that act is known as the wasiyah. The second term we will use in this form is musi. Musi means the testator who is writing the will. That is called musi, the testator. And then the beneficiaries, Musa lahu or Musa be, or Musa lahu means to whom we are writing the will. This wealth goes to whom? My children, my family members, or maybe some other things that will come later on. The beneficiaries will come under this will, Musa lahu. Then executors are wasi. Mera wasi ye hai. Mera wasi means the executor. I am writing the name of the executor in the will, 1, 2, or 3, and I am giving the authority to that executor to execute the will. To my will, how can you execute? And what are the conditions? Inshallah will come. Normally we'll use the executor in the when they translated wasi as the executor. Maybe administrator, maybe distributor of the will, all those things will come in the same meaning. And the estate, all the properties that owned by a deceased person. Properties, so bank accounts, so land हो, building हो, cash in hand, shares, motor cars, laptops, cell phones. ये cell phone होना चाहिए, पहले cell phone हो. The costliest thing that we are holding in our hand is the cell phone. Whom to it goes to whom? Cell phone और सारी चीज़ें इसमें आ जाएंगी, state में आ जाएंगी. Sometimes the state is there, sometimes no. Those things will not comes under state. That is stateless things. Those who are come under my responsibilities, duties, income tax, homes, zakat, everything come under stateless things. That will not come under state, but those things will come under stateless things. Inshallah, we'll try to explain later on. Musi, Musa lahu, and wasi. These are the three main vocabularies we come to know when you start writing the will. Musi means who is the writer of the will, testator. And wasi means executor, and Musa lahu, to whom we are writing the will, the beneficiaries. The first thing that will come in the writing the will is, before going to this, I will try to go to the next slide. The division of the estate. Just you understand this one, then we can come back to the previous slide. The division of the estate, only the person who is writing the will, he is having the authority of only 1/3 of his wealth. 1/3. Complete wealth or estate that he is holding in his hand, he is having the authority to write a will in only 1/3. Remaining 2/3, according to the Sharia, goes to his beneficiaries. 1/3 में जो कुछ लिखना चाहे लिख सकते हैं. इसको दे दो, उसको दे दो, नमाज पढ़ा दो, ज़कात दे दो, खुम्स दे दो, हज करा दो, जमात को पैसा दे दो. Only I am having the authority in 1/3 of my state. Remaining 2/3, whether I am writing something or not, those things will goes to my children and my family members. Sharia में automatically it will goes. अब मैं कहूँगा मैं बच्चों को नहीं दूंगा, I can write it in the will? No, I can't write it. Because according to Sharia, it is a haqq of Allah on my beneficiaries. It is directly, it goes to my children and my family members. State में 2/3 state में मेरा कोई इख्तियार choice नहीं है. Whatever we are discussing here, it is only in 1/3 of my state. 1/3 of my state. So what is the 1/3? बाज़ लोग कहते हैं, बाज़ communities में होते हैं, the man is not having any control on his wealth. Some maybe communities says, some religion says they are having absolute control on his wealth, on his will. But Islam says the medium path. Not only he didn't have the control, it is not right. He is having the total control on his will. It is also not right. And the medium path is he is having the control on 1/3 of his state. The 2/3 will be out of his control. It's clear. Inshallah, we'll go to the question answers. Then in the 1/3, he is having the right to decide where, to whom it goes and where we can spend this 1/3 of his state. This is known as the 1/3. He can give to the family members, the relatives, the friend, charitable cause, or any organization, Jamaat. He is having the right to write about 1/3 of his state. Inshallah, later on, when we discuss about the share of our wife, share of my wife or your wife, then the 1/3 will be helpful to distribute. How can we distribute the our will in the 1/3? We already discussed about what is the meaning of the state. In the state, everything comes under state that belongs to me. मेरे नाम पे जो भी है, मेरे हाथ में जो कुछ है, everything will come under the state. Whether wealth, whether building, whether shares, whether property, or everything will come under the state. All properties, goods, investment in the share market, everything will come under state. Even when we are working in the lifetime, we are having the co-owner, partnership में हम काम करते थे, 50% of that partnership will comes under my estate. Joint account, maybe someone having the joint account with his wife, his spouse, they are having the joint account. From the joint account, 50% of the joint account will be considered as the estate. The 50% will goes to the surviving spouse. अगर मैंने अपनी बीवी के साथ एक जॉइंट अकाउंट खोला है बैंक में, तो मेरे मरने के बाद 50% goes to my wife, 50% will come back to the state, to my family members and to my parents. तो ये सारी चीज़ें स्टेट में आएंगी. अब घर भी है, ये घर का लेटर ऑन वी डिस्कस अबाउट द हाउस. अब हाउस में अगर जॉइंट रजिस्ट्रेशन है विथ माई वाइफ, क्या होता है, जॉइंट पार्टनरशिप है हमारी, या हमने जॉइंट रजिस्ट्रेशन कराया, डॉक्यूमेंटेशन, ये घर मेरा और मेरी बीवी का है, 50-50%, तो द 50% गोज टू माई वाइफ एंड 50% विल कम बैक टू द स्टेट. ये सिर्फ बीवी को बचाने के लिए है, to save her after my death, at least we can have certain things in our hand. क्या करेंगे, बाद मरने के बाद बच्चे झगड़ा करेंगे, सबसे पहले जो इफेक्ट होगा वो मदर पे होता है, सबसे पहले जो इफेक्ट होता है वो स्पाउस पे होता है. Maybe they will sell out the house and they will remove their mother from that house. कभी कभार ये सेफर साइड ये है कि इंसान अपने वाइफ के साथ कोई प्रॉपर्टी पार्टनरशिप में कर ले, जॉइंट अकाउंट में हो, इट विल बी हेल्प आफ्टर आवर डिमाइस. ये जस्ट सोल्यूशंस हैं, करना या ना करना आपका काम है. व्हाट अबाउट द इंश्योरेंस? द मेन थिंग इज comes in our forward in front of us is life insurance. Life insurance goes to the beneficiary or beneficiaries. है ना, जब मरने के बाद लाइफ इंश्योरेंस का जो पैसा आता है, इट विल गोज टू द बेनिफिट. आपने जो नाम लिखा है लाइफ इंश्योरेंस के बेनिफिशियरी में, that insurance money will goes to her or him, or maybe the sons, maybe the family members. आपने जो लिखा उसके लिए जाएगा. Maybe sometimes they will write for themselves, I am the beneficiary of my life insurance. It will come to the estate. वो बन जाएगा हमारी मीरास, हमारा तरका बन जाएगा. तो लिखते वक्त सोच लेंगे, लिख दिया तो आप, it will goes to the beneficiary. और बेनिफिशियरी को जाएगा, but there is no homes on मीरास. There in inheritance, there is no homes. Once the inheritance, we received inheritance of our parents, then there is no homes will applicable on that state or that wealth that I am, share that I am getting from my parents. But in life insurance, homes is wajib when after passing 1 year. Though the money of the life insurance is the huge money, huge amount, but still homes is payable. We have to pay the homes when you received. The beneficiary who received the life insurance policy, then he has to pay the homes after passing 1 year at the date of receiving, from the date of receiving. ये क्लियर है आपके लिए? अब ना भी हो तो क्या कर सकते हैं? Inshallah. It's just we are not going to discuss about the inheritance. We are not going to discuss about the mirath. That mirath rulings are there in Quran. Mirath rulings are there in our ahadith. Mirath rulings are there in Tawdih al-Masahil. In detail, maybe we need another session for mirath and inheritance. How much share will goes to whom? Just to have a glances of the miras, I will like to mention who are getting miras from the deceased person, who are the first category, who are the second category, or who are the third category. Or who inherits from my estate, there is a first category is parents and children. इनके लिए जाएगा पहले. अगर मैं मर जाऊं, मत बोलिएगा इलाही अमीन. सॉरी फॉर दैट. हो अगर मेरे बाद मेरा स्टेट है, मेरी वेल्थ है, मेरी प्रॉपर्टी, एवरीथिंग, इट गोज टू 2/3. It goes to my parents and my children. If children are not there, it will go to the grandchildren. Parents and children, parents and grandchildren. Parents में माँ और बाप दोनों हैं. Children में बेटा और बेटी दोनों आ जाएंगे. This is the first degree or first category of inheritance. If they are alive, parents or children, any one child, if he is alive, the miras will not go to the second category. This degree will not go to the second. All the miras and the estate will take away my own single child, whether he is a male child or female child, boy or a girl. सारी miras, मेरी property ले जाएगी. For the second category, if no one is there from parents, no one is there from my children, then the inheritance will go to the second category is grandparents and siblings. ये दूसरा पोजीशन है. डिग्री सेकेंड डिग्री है. पेरेंट्स ना हो, चिल्ड्रन ना हो, तो ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स और सिबलिंग्स में जाएगा, ब्रदर्स एंड सिस्टर्स में जाएगा. अगर ब्रदर्स एंड सिस्टर्स ना हो तो नीस और नेफ्यूज में जाएगा. जैसे चिल्ड्रन ना हो तो ग्रैंड चिल्ड्रन में जाएगा. ब्रदर्स एंड सिस्टर्स, नीस एंड नेफ्यूज, द नेक्स्ट कैटेगरी. तो ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स और सिबलिंग्स में जाएगा सेकेंड कैटेगरी में. इफ देयर इज नो वन इन पेरेंट्स एंड चिल्ड्रन, if no one is there from the grandparents and siblings, it will goes to the third category. Third category में कौन है? Paternal uncles, aunts के लिए जाएगा. और इसी तरह से maternal uncles and aunts में जाएगा. चचा और फूफी में जाएगा. मामू और खाला में जाएगा. It comes, they are coming on after second category. If no one is there in the first category, if no one is there in the second category, if no one is there in the second category, then it goes to the third category. So what about the spouse? क्या बोलेंगे आप? The spouse will come in which category? In which degree? In all the three categories, spouse will be there. Her or his share will be there. In first category, in second category, in the third category. We can't deny the share of our wife if there is no one in the first category. The wife will be there with the first category, the wife will be there in the second category, the wife will be there in the third category. Her spouse means wife or husband. All the three categories, she will get her share. तो चलो ये भी मैं बता दूं कौन किसको कितना मिलेगा. It's a difficult subject to discuss. Just keep in your mind, inshallah I will share this PowerPoint to you, or you can go through the Tawzil Masail, you can get the outline map of inheritance. किसको कितना मिलेगा, बेसिक शेयर्स. कॉम्प्लिकेटेड शेयर्स आर देयर, नो वन इज़ देयर, एक बच्चा जिंदा है, वो भी हमारा नहीं है, वो किसी से को हमने पाल लिया था, सारी चीज़ें प्रॉब्लम्स में आएंगे. वी आर नॉट गोइंग टू डिस्कस अबाउट द प्रॉब्लम्स इन आवर रिलेटिव्स और इन आवर family members. The basic shares that as Quran has mentioned, these are the things. Father will get, in the two types of the shares are there here, if they are having the child, with child or without child. With child and without child. With children or without children. If father had a child, if we have the child, the father will get 1/6 of the share. 1/6 or 1/8, 1/4, मैं आपको क्लियर कर दूं. The shares जो होते हैं we calculate as a 100 shares. लेकिन आपके पास $100 हैं. It is a complete estate of mine, $100. If I am having the will that 1/3 will goes to according to my wishes, like for wajibat, for to pay the debts, if the will is there. If will is not there, whole estate will come under the inheritance. $100 will come under inheritance. If will is not there, that no one is going to take care of us. If will is not there, there is no namaz, there is no hajj, and there is no qawms at all. और जो पैसा आ रहा है तो मेरी नमाज के बारे में कौन सोचेगा? No one going to think about my life after death. What is going to happen me? If there is no will at all. अच्छे बच्चे हैं तो कर लेंगे, but we can't rely on our children. Now life में ना after death. Or will is not there, that whole 100% will come under state. तो 100% में शुरू करेंगे distribute करना. If we are having the child, the father will get 1/6 of that 100%, or 2/3. If will is there, वो 2/3 में 1/6 of the share. 1/6 or 1/8, 1/4, यानी if we are having the 6 share, we can divide all $100 into 6 shares. कैसे शेयर करेंगे? $100, 16.66% maybe our father will get from that 100% share. We have to divide in the 6 shares, then 1 share will get through my father, and remaining shares will goes to my children. If father is there. If you have no child, then the father, after distributing the mother's share and after distributing the spouse share, the remaining inheritance will be goes to the father of the family, my father. If I am having a mother, if there is no child, if the mother has the child, the same share like father, 1/6. If I have the no child, our brother, then the mother will get 1/3 of the inheritance. इसी तरह से husband के लिए है, if you have a child, 1/4. If you not have the child, the 50%. If your wife, share of your wife, if you had a child, 1/8. If you have no child, then 1/4. Then after distributing the share of father, mother, husband, or wife, or all of them. Sometimes parents are there, माँ भी जिंदा है, बाप भी जिंदा है, और sometimes एक husband भी जिंदा है और दूसरी wife भी जिंदा है. एक wife मरी है तो और wife कहाँ जाएगी? दो भी wife भी जिंदा. All the shares, after distributing all the shares, then the remaining inheritance goes to my children and my children, boys, male or female. The remaining share goes to my children. चाहे 2/3 में हो या 100% में हो. Yes, male child gets twice the share of a female child. وَلِلذَّكَرِ مِثْلُ حَظِّ الْأُنْثَيَيْنِ. And male child, boy will get the double share compared to the female child. So as we mentioned, the share of a wife is there. We can't deny the share of a wife. Yes, she will not get the share from the land of the house, land of the farming or agriculture, land of your shop. She will not get share from the land. Apart from the land, she will get share from every business. Whatever you are having the business, she will get the share of your business. House also, she will get the share of house by after deducting the share of the land, the price of the land. ये जस्ट आपके जहन में रहे मैप, तो when you start writing, you will at least have a least understanding about the shares. Yes, when we have the will, we have written, or we are having ownership, the common ownership with our spouse, then the 50% of the share goes to the spouse or the wife. मेन प्रॉब्लम कहाँ आता है? प्रॉब्लम आता है when there is no common registration or documentation with your wife. The wife will get only 1/8 of the share from our state. 1/8 means कितने परसेंट हुआ? 12% of the share. अगर $100 है, $100 है आपके पास, the 12% of that $100 will get by my wife. तो प्रॉब्लम क्या आता है? After my demise, maybe children will not give her the right that she deserve as a mother. कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं होगा, बच्चे अच्छे हैं तो, but sometimes the problems will come in our life to how to distribute these shares. How do we distribute this house to? My wife can get the major share. The first thing is that according to this advice has been given by Syed Muhammad Razvi, the beautiful advice to save her rights after my demise. मैं क्या कर सकता हूँ अपनी बीवी के लिए? I can write a will and give the 1/3 of my estate to my wife. I can write in a will, my 1/3 of my wealth or estate goes to my wife. I am having the authority on 1/3. I can give to the 1/3. तो उसके लिए आसानी होगी. She can have the handful of amount, the money she can survive. I can gift the house in my lifetime. Of lifetime में मरने से पहले, I can gift that house with keys. This is your house. In front of my children, I am gifting this house to my wife. She can stay easily in that house. Yes, sometimes the people will ask, what will happen? She will die before my death. यहाँ भी इलाही मिन मत बोलिएगा. वो पहले मर जाए, या maybe खुदा ना खास्ता I divorce her before my demise or my death. What will happen to that house? तो यहाँ पर वो one condition is there in our Sharia is conditional gift. Conditional gift means this house belongs to my wife if she stayed with me till the end of my life. डिवोर्स ही ना हो, फिर डिवोर्स लेके ना भाग जाए और वो ना मर जाए. अगर वो जिंदा रहे, मेरे साथ रहे, तो दिस हाउस बिलोंग्स टू हर. दैट इज अ कंडीशनल गिफ्ट वी कैन मेक टू हेल्प टू इक्वल द शेयर, टू डू द जस्टिस विद माई वाइफ आफ्टर माई डेथ. और वी कैन आस्क आवर अदर inheritors, the heirs, we can ask them to reach to the conclusion or reach to the solution. यार ये प्रॉब्लम है, ये घर बटेगा बट तो प्रॉब्लम हो जाएगा, चलो बैठे बात करते हैं. मे बी दिस सन विल गिव हिज ओन शेयर टू हिज मदर, मे बी शी हर डॉटर विल गिव हर शेयर टू हर मदर. देन यू कैन सॉल्व द प्रॉब्लम्स इन योर लाइफ टाइम इजीली, और आफ्टर डेथ टू. आफ्टर डेथ वी कॉल ऑल द heirs in a one place and we get the solution. We will ask the solution. अगर inheritors, अगर heirs राजी हो जाएं, we can change the will too. अगर वो राजी हो जाएं, yeah, do whatever you want. Oh executor, we are happy. Please give our 10% of the share to my mother. We are happy. Give the 15% of our share to our mother. We are happy. If you reach to the conclusion and the compromise, the Sharia will allow it. ये बहुत ही आसान स्टेटमेंट है फ्रॉम द शरिया. इफ एवरीवन विल रीच टू द कंक्लूजन, बस बच्चे कहेंगे हमें शेयर चाहिए नहीं, आई डिडंट वांट माय शेयर, प्लीज गिव माय शेयर टू माय मदर और टू माय सिस्टर, इट्स ओके. द शरिया विल एक्सेप्ट दैट कॉम्प्रोमाइज और द सोल्यूशन. हो मैं तो नहीं रहूँगा, क्या करूँ? एक एग्जीक्यूटर मुझे बनाना पड़ेगा टू डिस्ट्रीब्यूट दिस स्टेट और इनहेरिटेंस. एक एग्जीक्यूटर, जैसे हमने बताया, एक वसी बनाना पड़ेगा. एक वसी, बट व्हाट वी मेंशन इन द फॉर्म इज बेटर यू मेक इट 2 एग्जीक्यूटर्स, 1 और 2, और बेटर यू मेक इट 3. यहाँ पर असल कहना ये चाहते हैं, गिव द एग्जीक्यूटर अथॉरिटी to appoint another executor on his behalf or successor of that executor. कभी कभार एक executor नहीं कर पाएगा. Maybe he is traveling, maybe he is having the problem with to solve the problem. He will face some difficulties. So what will be the solution is make it another executor or give them the authority to he can appoint another executor, another successor. कभी कभार according to Sharia there is no permission to the executor to appoint another executor on his behalf after death. After death of the Musi and testator, the executor did not have permission to appoint another executor on his behalf. At least he should have the authority from the deceased person. In the will, authority will में है, so he can appoint. Select one executor and give him the authority to appoint another successor for himself to solve the problems. ये easy रहेगा और आसान रहेगा. एनी एग्जीक्यूटर कोई भी हो सकता है, स्पाउस हो सकते हैं, फैमिली मेम्बर्स हो सकते हैं, रिलेटिव्स हो सकते हैं, फ्रेंड्स हो सकता है, कोई भी हो सकता है एग्जीक्यूटर. इवन यू कैन मेक एग्जीक्यूटर योर वन वाइफ और स्पाउस. बेटे को बना सकते हैं, लेकिन बेटर है एज ए प्रिकॉशन उसको एग्जीक्यूटर बनाओ जो फैमिली मेम्बर ना हो. जी क्या बोलते हैं उसको, बेनिफिट ऑफ डाउट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट, वो ना हो, फैमिली मेम्बर ना हो. बेटर यू कैन अपॉइंट ए वन पर्सन हु इज़ ए नॉलेजेबल पर्सन हु कैन ईजिली डिस्ट्रीब्यूट द वेल्थ और स्टेट इन बिटवीन द फैमिली मेम्बर्स. बाहर से अच्छा हो, दोस्त हो, कोई जमात का नॉन पर्सन हो, हु कैन ईजिली डिस्ट्रीब्यूट, डू द जस्टिस इन द डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन, वी हैव टू अपॉइंट हिम. Allahu Akbar. There is a conditions for the executor. He should be a baligh and sane and a Muslim. किसी पागल को executor ना बनाओ, उठा के ले जाएगा. Once he accepted that he will become the executor of a testator or a musi, he cannot reject. वाह मैं नहीं बन पाऊंगा बाद मरने के बाद. He can't say that I am no more executor. What will happen if he denies to accept as executor? क्या करेंगे हम लोग? डिफ़िकल्ट में आ जाते हैं. जो भी जिसको भी एग्जीक्यूटर बना रहे हैं, जस्ट इन्फॉर्म हिम बिफोर द डेथ दैट ही इज़ गोइंग टू द एग्जीक्यूटर ऑफ द विल एंड ही हैज़ टू एक्सेप्ट दैट वन. अगर एक्सेप्ट नहीं करेगा तो सेकेंड, थर्ड, ये 2-3 एग्जीक्यूटर बना दे. अगर कोई भी एक्सेप्ट नहीं करता है तो देन हाकिम शरा विल बिकम द एग्जीक्यूटर. Ayatollah Sistani's office will become the executor of my will. He will send someone to distribute the state among the family members. Not the only all the wealth will go to Ayatollah Sistani. No, he will appoint from on his behalf the another executor who can distribute the wealth justly. चलो ये ज़्यादा डिस्कशन ना हो जाए. Then guardian of children, अगर माइनर है, हमारे बच्चे माइनर हैं, नाबालिग हैं, they are not matured enough, they need one guardian. और guardian के लिए तो आमतौर से we are not facing the problem when it comes to the guardian. The spouse will become, the surviving spouse will become the guardian of the children, nabaligh children. Mother hai ya father hai, or sometimes mother or father, they will deny to take care of the children. What will happen? We have to select one, a good guardian, a just guardian, a believer, a mu'min, a Muslim, a sane guardian to take care of our nabaligh children. मैंने सारा जुमले एक जुमले में बता दिया आपके. Maybe father, grandfather, paternal grandfather, mother, they can become the guardians. Yes, according to Ayatollah Sistani, but one must be very careful in selecting such a person apart from the family members. If I am ready, I am there to select one guardian apart from the mother or grandfather or mother, then we have to be careful. इसलिए कि ये आसान नहीं है. बच्चे की ज़िंदगी और उसके ईमान और उसके फेथ का मसला है और उसके वेल्थ का मसला है. नाबालिग, द पर्सन हु इज़ नॉट बालिग, स्टिल दे कांट यूज़ देयर मनी, दे डोंट नो हाउ टू यूज़, वेयर टू यूज़. तो ये जिम्मेदारी दोनों चीज़ों से, एज ए स्टेट रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी एंड रिलीजन रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी. सॉरी टाइम हो गया है शायद. आफ्टर राइटिंग ए विल, कैन आई अपडेट माई विल? यस. Every year, every 6 months, whenever the situation changes, आपके पास पैसा नहीं था, पैसा आ गया, will change कर सकते हैं. उसमें कुछ चीज़ें लिख सकते हैं. कानून बदल गया, गवर्नमेंट का कानून, law of the land has been changes, law of the tax has been changes. Just you can revive and change your will. We can change it before our death. अपडेट के बाद yes, I will request any of the DS member. I come to know from the website of Ayatollah Agha Syed Muhammad Rizvi. In his website, they have created one free will template online. You can go to the website.
You're not going to go through it, right?
No, just you take the address.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
It's opening.
it's opening?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, this is the template. You can see it is going to display that there. Sorry. Yes. Maybe it is not clear. Inshallah, we'll forward it to you. It is template form to make the things easy, because normally when you come to the distribution of the state according to the Sharia, we'll face difficulties. याद नहीं रहता ना, मीरास की बातें कहाँ याद रहेंगी, किसको कितना देना है, वाइफ का शेयर क्या, फादर का शेयर क्या, बेटे का शेयर क्या, बेटी का शेयर क्या. It's very difficult to keep those things in our mind. Maybe it will take time. What they have done is they have facilitated those who are filling the form. Just you start filling the form here, your details, your email address, your full name, then the will, effective date of the will. We have to fill that form. Then you start filling that form. You follow the instruction. Next page, and next page. After 3-4 pages, even you can go to the online by using the template. The email website address is there, Al Ma'arif Foundation and /will. If you go there, there is a template form. You start filling that form at house. When you go back to house, you can fill that form. Your name, your family members. Then you can write your estate, whatever you are having. Then you can write the family members, how much family, nearest family members, parents, children, that's enough. For family, if you're writing the family members, then you click, I want to know the shares of my family members. They calculate automatically and they will suggest you and they will clear you the share of the family members. And they will email you, the result will come to your email ID. You can know who will get how much share from my estate. It is an easy process. Still they are developing this form. Maybe they have solved nearly 50 solutions, possible solutions. Maybe they are planning for 200 possible solution for the shares, who will get how much share. But you can start writing, at least you come to know who get how much from your state. It will be the easy process. Oh, this is for a gift for you from this will workshop session. Then we'll go for the last. The last slide is, sorry, I am taken a lot of time. Alhamdulillahi alladhi hadana lihada wa ma kunna linahtadiya lawla an hadana Allah. This is the guidance from Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala. Blessings of Allah, that Allah has guided us to how to take care of our wealth, our state, how can we distribute. This is also one of the gift of Allah, guidance of Allah. We will thank Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala for this beautiful and beneficial gift in this night, inshallah. Wa akhiru dawana anil hamdulillahi rabbil alameen. सॉरी मैं इंग्लिश में ज़्यादा बोल दिया, अगर किसी को पसंद नहीं आया तो दुआ कर दीजिएगा.
Thank you, Syed. Indeed, it was enlightening to hear magnificent words as always. I'd now like to call Brother Muhammad Zamin Nazar Ali in order to shed some light in the legal aspects of writing a will. Can we have a salawat, please?
it's long. Okay, so I can control it myself also. I can control it myself. Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. My name is Muhammad Zamin Nazrali. Just a bit of background about myself and why I'm speaking on the legal aspect. I'm an advocate of the High Court of Tanzania by profession. I'm currently an associate at Bowman's Tanzania. It's a Tier 1 law firm with 7 offices in 5 countries in South Africa, Mauritius, Tanzania, Kenya, and Zambia. And I have, based on my work experience, I have previous experiences in dispute resolution, mergers and acquisitions, banking and finance, intellectual property, employment, and competition law. I have my email there and my contact address in case anybody has any queries after this presentation. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So I'll start. A lot of the points, my presentation will be very brief. A lot of the points already spoken by Sheikh Adeel, very insightful. I've quoted the same verse he quoted as the basis for Islam for wills. Just quickly, what is a will? A will is a legal document that serves as a roadmap for how a person's assets will be distributed and how their loved ones will be cared for after they are gone. For us, for Muslims, it is essential to ensure that the property is allocated according to the Islamic law and the Quranic principles of fairness and justice. As you heard Sheikh Adeel, the shares of inheritance have already been prescribed by Islam. So all a will is doing, all the will allows you to do is just play with that 1/3 that you're allowed to distribute as you please. So in Tanzania, this is the question: can a Muslim distribute their estate according to their own wishes? There's a large misconception amongst the masses generally that you can distribute your estate as you please in Tanzania, or in Tanzania you can distribute as you please, and they will enforce it the way you've written it, which is a wrong idea. It is a misconception, because both legally and Islam, so the law acknowledges the Islamic aspect, the Islamic obligation of writing a will in accordance with the Islamic principles. I've cited an excerpt from one of the laws applicable in Tanzania. It's the Succession Non-Christian Asiatics Act, in which it clearly states a deceased non-Christian Asiatic who at the time of death is domiciled in mainland Tanzania and to the immovable property in mainland Tanzania of such a non-Christian Asiatic, whether or not domiciled in mainland Tanzania at the death, shall be regulated by the law of the religion professed by that particular non-Christian Asiatic at death. There's also another law, the Probate and Administration of Estates Act. This is the central law that guides administration of estates and wills, generally how to proceed once someone has died. And within it, there's a specific section that states unless the member of a tribe, the estate of a member of a tribe shall be administered according to the law of that tribe. So first, customary law is given priority, unless the deceased at any time professed Islam religion, and the court exercising jurisdiction over his estate is satisfied from the written oral declaration of the deceased or his acts or manner of his life that the deceased intended his estate to be administered either wholly or in part according to Islamic law, in which case the estate shall be administered either wholly or in part as the case may be according to that law. This gives rise to a principle in law known as the mode of life test. So for example, when you've died without a will, the courts usually deploy this mode of life test. They see how you lived your life. Was it in accordance to your tribe or according to your religion? If you professed and followed the Islamic faith and you abided by it, they will apply the Islamic laws to your estate. It's the same case even if you write a will that is not in accordance with Islam. So I've just quickly I've quoted an excerpt from one of the decisions of the Court of Appeal of Tanzania. So just for context, the Court of Appeal in Tanzania is the most supreme court, whose decisions are binding on all of the lower courts, including the High Court and the District Court. So any decision by the Court of Appeal is essentially the word of God in Tanzania. In this case of Waziri Maneno Choka, the court stated here, if you can see on the right side, they acknowledge the Islamic law. They state, we have had the occasion to study the works of various authors on Muhammadan law meaning Islamic law. Those whom we have studied all agree that testamentary disposition may not exceed a third of the estate, as Sheikh Adeel reiterated. This applies irrespective of whether the disposition is to an heir recognized under Muhammadan law or a stranger. Here they've quoted some of the academic works within the decision. They've quoted a few of the academic works which emphasize on the same principle. The second of the excerpts, just reading it out loud, a Muhammadan cannot by will dispose of more than a third of the surplus of his estate after the payment of funeral expenses and debts. Meaning your funeral expenses and debts are given priority first. Whatever is remaining, that is only then that can be distributed amongst your heirs, and the 1/3. So, and it continues, bequests in excess of the legal third cannot take effect unless the heirs consent thereto after the death of the testator. Meaning, if you have given more than 1/3 to someone, unless the heirs consent, the 1/3 the excess bit will revert back to the estate. So, for example, just as an example I had here, Just as an example, assuming my estate is $10,000 and I wish to benefit my friend, let's name him Ali. I can only give Islamically, I can only give him up to 1/3, meaning $3,000 only. The remaining 7,000 will be distributed in accordance with the Islamically prescribed divisions that Sheikh Adeel stated, the different classes. So should I give Ali more than 3,000? For example, I gave him 5,000, and 5,000 now is for my heirs. It is not allowed by law and according to Islam, meaning the $2,000 will then revert back to the estate of the heirs, and which will then be distributed. 7,000 has to be distributed to the heirs. This is another decision I've quoted which essentially highlights the same thing. It's the Court of Appeal decision again. So in essence, my point is, by quoting these decisions, the principle that a Muslim cannot bequeath more than 1/3 or must bequeath in accordance with Islamic principles is a principle recognized by our courts and which they've adhered to in multiple decisions and which has been recognized by the Court of Appeal, meaning the lower courts cannot overrule it. Can a will be challenged? The answer is yes. The example I gave, this is such decision in which when the testator passed away, he bequeathed more than 1/3 to a stranger in essence. The 1/3 he gave to he gave the heirs' share to a third person in essence. The heirs challenged the will in court, and after challenging, the High Court upheld the decision and stated that the will had to be amended to make it in accordance with Islam, meaning only 1/3 can go to that person. So the rest reverted back to the estate of the deceased. Just something to keep in mind. Although, of course, Sheikh Adeel gave the solutions. You can, for example, gift the estate during your lifetime, as Sheikh Adeel stated, or you can have a joint account, for example, in which 50% goes to that person. These are all remedies, but just purely legally, this is the position. As Sheikh Adeel also stated again, if you don't write a will, you don't get to play with your 1/3. The entire estate goes to the heirs and is divided in accordance with the prescribed divisions according to the Sharia. The process of writing a will, again, Sheikh Adeel has already touched on it. While a Muslim is not mandated to make a will in writing, and there is no particular form, as a matter of good practice, it is advisable to write such will in writing to prevent uncertainty, and this principle that a Muslim isn't obligated to have a will in writing was again recognized by the Court of Appeal in this case. So again, it's a principle that is recognized, nothing to worry about. In the event you have a will that is an oral will, it will still be accepted. However, to prevent uncertainty, it is best to have it in writing. And there were 7 conditions I've highlighted, and these conditions have also been explained in the will in the paper that was circulated by DS, the ones by World Federation. So the first condition is that there must be a testamentary capacity, meaning the testator, the person who is writing the will, he must have the mental capacity to understand the nature of its will and its consequences. Number 2 is the intention. He must have the intention of writing a will, and he must know that he's doing this after his death to prepare himself. He must have attained the legal age, meaning the age of 18 years. The testator must highlight all of his properties that he has, anything that he has. He must highlight the executor of his will, who he intends to appoint as an executor. The executor will essentially manage the distribution of the assets and carry out the wishes after they pass away. A good suggestion, as Sheikh Adeel suggested, is appointing 2 executors or a third one, or alternatively you can appoint 1, but then include a condition that in the event the first one dies or is incapable, the second one automatically takes over. Something along those lines. There must be a signature. You must sign yourself, and there must be witnesses, 2 witnesses, as a matter of good practice. And those witnesses must not be beneficiaries under the will. They must not benefit under the will. So, again, a popular misconception is you necessarily need a lawyer to prepare your will or to execute your will, which is not true. You can have it before anyone, as long as you're certain you've abided by all the Islamic principles and the legal principles. It's just a lawyer helps you with all the legal principles, and a lawyer is normally best placed to go to court after you've passed away to obtain the mandate to distribute your assets, because it's not an automatic process, meaning once you die, the lawyer or the executor must go to court. He must obtain permission from the court, and only after he's been given permission will the government then recognize the transfer of assets. Because I cannot just come up today and say, for example, okay, this is for my sister, my father's pastor, this for my sister, this for my brother. I cannot do that. I mean, on what basis will the bank or the government believe me? Where's my authority coming from? So only after the court authorizes you can you then distribute the assets accordingly. So this is where a lawyer can help you significantly. And in essence, that is my presentation. In short, the Islamic principles are recognized by Tanzanian law mandatorily. So if you have any misconception on it, please get rid of it. Muslims by law are mandated to distribute their estates in accordance with the Islamic principles. Thank you very much. I appreciate listening to me, and I'm sorry if all of it was in English. Thank you very much. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Okay. So I've been requested to quickly go through the wills that are on your tables, the World Federation ones. Okay. So as you can see on the top, you are stating on the top you're stating your name, where you live, and the date you've made that will on. And then you're stating the first paragraph is essential. You're stating that all your former wills, any previous wills you've made, are all nullified, and this is going to be a final will. That first paragraph is necessary. The second part 2, which is the second paragraph, meaning you're testifying that you're a Shia Muslim and that you want your property, the estate, to be distributed in accordance with Islam. Number 3, You're appointing executors. These are all the conditions I've already stated previously. Again, you can play around with this. It's up to you. If you have any children, guardians of minor children, Sheikh Adeel has gone through it already. Funeral arrangements, any debts due, how many, who do you owe money to, because that's an obligation Islamically to first pay your debts before your property can be distributed. If you have any zakat, khums, or qadha remaining, this is where you include it. And you state, for example, I have 60 days of salah, please, pay someone to perform them for me. Up to 1/3 of your estate. This is where you can add any extra things you want. For example, if you want a Quran khatma to be recited for you, or any additional thawab jariyah, a well created in your name, for example, you can add this here. After you have paid off all your debts, after you've included all your debts and your liabilities and your funeral arrangements, 2/3 of your estate. This is how you state, I have a father, for example, I have a daughter, I have a wife, your immediate family members who are going to benefit under your will. You can include any advice for your children if you may please. You include the list of assets that you have, if you have a house, if you have a car. List of liabilities, what debts do you owe? The list of religious liabilities. And then the list of loans, meaning who owes you and who you owe others. So if I need to receive, for example, 2 million from person X, I include that, because that forms part of my estate. And again, at the end, you sign, date, name, and before two witnesses as I recommended, who are not going to benefit under the will. And at the end, you have guidances or additional notes created by World Federation. And under Section 7, do they include the 1/3, what you can do with the 1/3, meaning you can paying by grievances, Radd Madhalim, Namaz Wahsha, Quran, Khatma, Aqiqah, Sadaqah Jariyah, Hajj, Umrah. That's all included in the 1/3. If you have any questions, if you have any questions on the legal side, again, I'm available. My number and my contact is below, my email and my contact. Please feel free to contact me at any time. Yeah, that's it. Thank you very much. Salawat. Allah. Salli ala.
Thank you so much, Brother Muhammad Zamin. You can begin writing your own wills. However, this is just a draft. You may need to continue updating it at home. We have Syed Adeel and the lawyer passing around if you have any queries coming along. As we begin, refreshments are also being served.
Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Salam, asante. Mana wills aje weli lakhina khopse, bada mari gaya che jarak. Bio, just to clarify what we are doing now, I know, okay, we've gone a little bit over schedule. What we have maybe 15 to 20 minutes, where I want us to take the paper that we have, the template that we have, take the pens that we have, and start writing your wills. Just a rough draft on the templates that we have handed to you. We have Syed Adeel, and we do have the lawyer who will be walking around. And as you're writing the wills is when you will think of questions to ask. Because as much as Syed Adeel's presentation was so detailed and as much as the lawyer covered the legal aspects, I'm sure it's only when you write the things is when the questions will come up. Yeah? Exam ma japne sawal yaad aave. So we have 15 minutes to do that. After that, we will close. And then, inshallah, I'm sure Syed Adeel is always available at the mosque. And we can always catch him for all the questions. So we have 15 minutes. Refreshments are being served. And we will close, inshallah, after 15 minutes. Please begin. And, yeah, 15 more minutes left. Thank you very much.